Thank you. The next question has been asked by the Honorable Swart to the Minister of Finance. Question number 174. The Honorable the Minister.
Thank you, House Chair. The question has to do with the impact of load shedding, estimated to have on slowing the country's economic growth rate to 1.3%. The answer to your first question, Honorable Swart, our estimates indicate that the electricity shortages as a result of electricity supply constraints will shave between 0.5% and 1% from annual real GDP growth in 2015. This has been accounted for in our 2015 budget review forecast. Had electricity not been a binding constraint on the economy, our real GDP growth could have ranged between 2.5% and 3% for this year. On a quarterly basis, this translates into growth of between 2.3% and 2.9% in the first quarter of 2015. Therefore, it is estimated that quarter one load shedding subtracted between 0.8 and 1.6 percentage points from seasonally adjusted and annualized quarterly growth in the first quarter. Second question, electricity indeed remains the key constraint to growth and was the primary reason for growth of 1.3% in the first quarter of 2015. Agriculture was also negatively affected, in addition to this, by severe drought conditions which adversely affected summer crops such as maize and sunflower. Indicators also show that consumers continue to be weighed down by high debt levels and low employment growth, which also contribute to this low growth that we're talking about. Investment is constrained by low confidence and expectations of subdued demand at home. To your third question, at the time of the budget, we expected the real GDP to grow by 2% in 2015. The first quarter outcome of 1.3% was indeed in line with National Treasury's expectation for growth as we had anticipated the electricity supply constraints and had built it into our forecasts. We therefore believe that 2% is still a realistic and attainable growth outcome for 2015. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Swart.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Minister, we've dealt a lot with the load shedding and the ESCOM issues, and we understand from the Deputy President that it's going to be ongoing for 18 months to 2 years, and you have correctly conceded that it is a severe constraint. You also indicated that manufacturing was directly impacted by load shedding, but we also had the drought impacting the maize harvest. Do you not agree that without a sustainable economic growth of way above 2%, I think the NDP speaks about 5%, there can be little prospect of significant job creation? And my second question related to the impact on revenue targets, but you have to a certain degree answered that because you've indicated that the constraints caused by load shedding have already been built into your growth targets. But are you still satisfied with the progress that ESCOM is making in turning around that your target figure for economic growth, which will impact on revenue collection, is still on track? Thank you very much.
The Honorable the Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Indeed, as you correctly point out, we do need growth much higher than the 2% that we have projected. But we are being realistic here, and we are saying with the constraints that are currently obtaining on the ground, it is unlikely that we would be able to realize growth that would exceed 2%. But I think what's important also is to look at the quality of the growth. The 2% growth has the potential of creating jobs if it is inclusive enough. It is for that reason that we are focusing on other sectors that would either be less energy intensive but will have a higher rate of job absorption, like agriculture, as we've pointed out, and I think we are on track. And indeed, revenue, we are concerned, but we think we're still on track because we had priced it in our projections. Thank you.